You can point fingers every way, but the bottom line is Congress needs to act. Congress needs to vote. President Trump has called for tax cuts for people on Social Security. I applaud him. We've had tax cuts in our proposal for the last decade.
That was Representative Larson calling for increase in enhanced Social Security benefits. I'm going to play the full video clip of that as he just spoke last week in Congress. Also, Donald Trump, now that he is the president, what is going to happen with your Social Security? Well, there are 10 things you need to know. If I scroll down to number 6, you're going to see the president's views on Social Security have changed in a big way. I'm going to go through those 10 things, what this big change in Social Security now that Trump is president means for your Social Security. I'm going to go through that, play the full video clip of Representative Larson. You're not going to want to miss that, plus the 10 things from Trump, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate these Social Security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Social Security updates. So now that Trump is the president, what do we need to know about Social Security? Well, there are 10 things we need to know. President Trump has not done anything yet regarding Social Security, but I'm hoping any day now we could see some big changes happening. So I'm going to go through these 10 things you need to know about Social Security. But first, let's take a listen to Representative Larson.
I rise today to address the concern that faces the United States Congress, one that it has avoided and neglected for more than 54 years. Richard Nixon was the last president to enhance Social Security. That was in 1971. All of us are concerned on both sides of the aisle, but concern is no substitute for action. And it's long overdue that Congress takes a vote on behalf of the American people. Social Security is more than a pension program. And I think the American public knows it and is getting aroused because, well, there's 70 million Americans that are on Social Security and 10,000 baby boomers a day become eligible for Social Security. For example, Mr. Speaker, in your district alone, you have over 175,000 Social Security recipients. And it's broken down into those who receive pensions, those who get spousal benefits, those who get widow benefits, children, and of course, disabilities. More veterans rely on Social Security disability than they do on the VA. But here's the other key thing, and we don't emphasize this enough. Social Security is the best economic development program that we have in the country. Every district, on average, gets over $200 million coming into that district on a weekly basis. So imagine, on a monthly basis. And can you imagine, where do they spend that money? Nobody gets wealthy on Social Security, that's for sure. But that money goes right back into the economy. And so it becomes something that Congress hasn't adjusted since 1971. Now, I think a few things everyone would acknowledge have happened to the economy since 1971. But certainly for Congress to neglect its responsibility, and you can point fingers every way, but the bottom line is Congress needs to act. Congress needs to vote. President Trump has called for tax cuts for people on Social Security. I applaud him. We've had tax cuts in our proposal for the last decade, but there has been no action on that. But the difference between what we're proposing and what President Trump is proposing is that we pay for ours, because if you don't pay for it, what you end up doing is bankrupting the Social Security Fund. Still, the #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly and the #1 anti-poverty program for children. But this economic development piece is something, again, that all of us ought to be able to embrace. I provide every member of Congress with a card that will demonstrate how many recipients you have and how much money comes into your district on a monthly basis. And for us meaning the United States Congress, it's the only body that can act. President can't do it through executive order. The Supreme Court isn't going to take it up. Only the United States Congress can. Inaction means the fund will be cut. Unpaid action means the fund will be cut drastically. Imagine, Mr. Speaker, there's more than 5 million people that get a below poverty level check from Social Security, having paid in all their lives. That was not the guarantee that they signed up for. And there's close to 35 million people in total, 35 million fellow Americans. This is the only benefit they have. Again, testing to the great vision and leadership of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, knowing that this is actually the safety net of capitalism. This allows people to take risks because even if people were to fail, there is something there to catch them and help them and their families through this. But Congress has not acted since 1971. Now, some will say, no, wait a minute. Didn't Tip O'Neill? Yes, they did. Tip O'Neill got together. It was primarily led by Senator Bob Dole. We got together with Ronald Reagan, who was adamantly opposed to Social Security, but Dole convinced him, no, this is the right thing to do. So what they did is they extended the solvency of Social Security to its current position. Not as long as it should have been, but nonetheless, it was an action that went in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, I know you to be a man of goodwill and integrity, and I hope this is something that we can bring up and work to get this done on behalf of the American people. And with that, I yield back.
Gentleman from Connecticut.
Congress needs to act immediately. Congress has stolen way too much from Social Security for too many years, hasn't paid it back, and we have people working so hard their entire lives, promise to get Social Security, but they're not getting the amount that they deserve. Getting below poverty checks on Social Security is just a crime for the richest nation in the entire planet. So we need to increase Social Security somehow. Maybe Trump is the guy to do it. We might finally see some changes here. So Donald Trump and Social Security, 10 things you need to know. So let's get into this. Now that Trump is officially the president. So Social Security isn't going bankrupt, but it is in trouble. So Social Security generates income from 3 ways. 12.4% tax on earned income. This is wages and salary, but not investment income. Number 2, the interest income earned on its asset reserves. And number 3, taxation of Social Security benefits. That's right. You work your entire life, you finally get Social Security, and you're taxed on those Social Security benefits, which is ridiculous. So hopefully we're going to see a change with that soon. Number 2, there's a $23.2 trillion and growing long-term funding shortfall. For 85 years, Social Security Board of Trustees has released an annual report highlighting the program's annual income and outlays. More importantly, this year's report takes into account changes in fiscal and monetary policy, as well as the demographic shifts to forecast how financially sound Social Security is over long term. Basically, we're saying here in the 2024 report, trustees estimate a $23.2 trillion cash shortfall through 2098, which is $800 billion more than the estimated deficit in 2023. I don't know, whenever I see a number like 2098, I just kind of think like, are we actually even going to be here anymore? Are there going to be any humans on this planet? Is there going to be a U.S. anymore? It's crazy to think about that far away. But, if you think about 50 years prior, did they ever think about that? I don't know. Anyway, number 3, sweeping benefit cuts up to 21% are an estimated 8 years away. So basically, what we're saying here is the OASI's asset reserves were to be, if they were to be exhausted, retired workers and survivor beneficiaries could see a sweeping benefit cut of up to 21% in 8 years. So it's kind of good news and bad news. The good news is for at least the next 8 years, if you're on Social Security, you're not going to get any benefits cut. If nothing is done, the bad news here is nothing is done in the next 8 years, you're going to see your benefits finally cut. Unless there is a big drastic change. Hopefully we see that from Trump. Number 4, ongoing demographic shifts are primarily to blame for Social Security's financial woes. What I'm saying here is that the ongoing demographic shifts are to blame these 3 categories, but not limited to 58% decline in legal migration to the U.S. over a quarter of a century, rising income inequality, and a historically low birth rate. So I guess less people in the workforce, less money going to Social Security. Number 5, Trump understands the ramifications of changing Social Security. So basically what Trump said here, this is a while back, as Republicans, if you think you're going to change very substantially for the worse Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security in any substantial way, and at the same time think you're going to win elections, it just really is not going to happen. Could have been said better, because no one's going to win an election for the 70 million Social Security recipients if they plan on cutting Social Security. It just doesn't happen that way. 70 million people on Social Security, whichever way they vote, could determine an election. That's what's then number 6. The president-elect's views on Social Security have changed in a big way. What's said here, Trump said the solution to the great Social Security crisis couldn't be more obvious. Allow every American to dedicate some portion of their payroll taxes to a personal Social Security account that they could own and invest in stocks and bonds. Not that bad of an idea, although efforts to partially privatize Social Security fell flat during George W. Bush's presidency, it nevertheless demonstrates that Trump is willing to shift his approach to strengthen Social Security. So he actually said this in January of 2000, 25 years ago. Trump said this about a personal Social Security account. We haven't seen anything like this or said from Trump, so maybe he'll say it now that he's president, but that was 25 years ago. Number 7, Trump is a big fan of operating efficiency. So basically, with a focus on making Social Security disability insurance, so SSDI, the trust fund, more efficient, for 4 consecutive years of White House budget proposals projected total savings for the Social Security program of $72 billion from 2018 to 2027, $64 billion from 2019 to 28, $26 billion from 2020 to 2029, and $24 billion from 2021 to 2030. So you can see the number going down there. Number 8, he's intimated that taxation. Intimated, is that a right word? Am I saying that right? Intimated that if anyone knows, what does intimated mean right here? I personally, I don't know that. That taxation of benefits should be eliminated. So there's one change President Trump has strongly hinted at. It's doing away with America's most hated tax. In a post on Social Security platform Truth Social, he said seniors should not pay tax on Social Security. Yes, thank you. Makes complete sense. So basically, he would get rid of that tax. Number 9, Donald Trump's Social Security proposals would come with unintended consequences. So an example, ending the taxation on Social Security benefits would increase monthly checks for around half of all retired workers. So you would get definitely a short-term boost. However, it would also remove an estimated $943 billion in collectible income for Social Security over 10 years and likely expedite the OASI's asset reserve depletion timeline. So that's a big thing too. We hear that. Like, if we cut Social Security tax, people on Social Security will get a big boost. That is coming. If he cuts the tax, but what's going to happen in 10 years? That question is not fully answered. Number 10, the status quo is likely to continue. The final thing you need to know about Donald Trump and Social Security is that the status quo is expected to continue. Even with Republicans controlling both House and both houses of Congress, Social Security reform would require bipartisan cooperation in the Senate, which has virtually been non-existent for decades. So it's possible nothing might change, unfortunately. But let me know, are you hopeful that Trump is going to make a big change for Social Security? Let me know down in the comments below. And that is all the news that I have for you today. If you like how I share with you all these articles, let you know latest video clips of Social Security, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And now here is my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I'm going to tell something what you should do. Don't let anybody tell you different. You are beautiful. You are full with excitement. You are great the way you are. Don't let anybody tell you any different. You are great the way you are. You are full with excitement, and you are great just the way you are in person. Bye. That's all I wanted to say for you. And be yourself. Bye.
If you haven't seen the Social Security Commissioner get roasted in a hearing recently, you're going to want to see this video over here as I go over, or show you the video clip of Martin O'Malley getting roasted in Congress. So click the video now, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.